This is an Urban Decay. Hi, I'm Kate and welcome to my channel. So this is a video that I've been really excited to film. I have the new Glaminatrix palette. This is the Nocturnal palette. It's so pretty. As soon as I saw this color story, I knew that I wanted to have it. It's like grungy but springy at the same time. This is beautiful in person. And I think I need to do 3 looks with this. There's so much variety that I don't think just doing 1 or 2 looks would do justice to this color story, so be prepared for 3 looks. This is not my first try with Glaminatrix. I also have a couple of their singles. These are some really pretty shimmery duochrome shades, and then last holiday season I also picked up the Silent Night palette. I'm obsessed with. This was definitely one of my top palettes of 2021, and the newest to me from Glaminatrix is this beautiful palette. So I got nice up close and personal so you could see as much detail on the eye as possible. I don't even know where I want to start today. I feel like normally I would jump right into the greens, so I'm not going to do that. I'm tempted to do like a grungy yellow look, but I love this kind of periwinkle purpley shade. I don't know, and the shimmers are so beautiful. I will say 3 of the shimmers, Milky Way, Luna, and Constellation, did arrive shattered. They're very soft pressed shadows though, so they did press back in just fine. I feel like I lost a good amount of Milky Way, but otherwise like they pressed in just fine. I know the brand has reformulated the shimmer formula just to help with travel because they've gotten a lot of reports of broken shadows. So if you've ordered past the first launch, which I got this in the very initial pre-order, if you've ordered past that, you shouldn't have that issue, hopefully, but the brand is great. I posted this palette as soon as I got it and they reached out immediately asking if I needed any replacements. I'm not gonna need any. I think they pressed back just fine. Customer service is great. This whole palette is beautiful. Even the packaging, it's like this really soft matte. So actually I think for today I'm gonna go a little more grungy, maybe stick over here. Today's a Thursday, 14 days left of the school year. I cannot wait until summer, and tomorrow is like a colorful day, like a spirit day at school, so maybe I'll go a little more bright and colorful tomorrow. I'm already primed up and ready, so I'm gonna start by dipping into the shade Fog, and I'm just gonna build that up in the crease. And what I learned from the Silent Night palette, which was my first experience with mattes from Glaminatrix, is that the pigment was great and they blended really easily, which I'm seeing with this already. This is just a beautiful, like, grungy, murky yellow, my kind of shade for sure. All right, and then next I'm gonna dip into Gloom, which is the shade right next to that. And I'm gonna start to kind of build that more in the crease and a little more on the outer part of the eye. I'm not gonna take it quite as in as I took the first shade. Since I'm doing 3 looks, I'll probably like try to fast forward through one of the eyes as I do this. It's blending out just fine. All right, there's the first 2 shades laid down. Then I'm gonna dip into the black, which is Shadow, and I'm gonna pop that on the outer corner. Now I feel like blacks can be really hard to formulate in a way where they keep their pigment and still blend out. So this will be a real test. I'm just keeping this out here, and I'll clean up the edges as I get my face on. All right, it's blending into the other shadows really nicely. I'm gonna pull it in just a little bit, about half, like to the halfway point. All right, so you can see the black just definitely added some dimension over here, so I'm gonna do the other side to match. All right, so there's the black blended out. I really like that. I'm gonna dip back into the first shade, Fog, and just kind of buff out the edges out here. The one thing with me with colorful makeup is I wear super colorful makeup to work almost every day. I am an elementary special education teacher, so nobody's like worrying about what my makeup looks like. In fact, my students really like when I have bright, colorful things on. So I do like to show like how you can go really colorful but wearable, because that's what I do every day. All right, so there are the mattes laid down. It's like a grungy yellow dream, blended out super easily. They're definitely my kind of tones. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut the crease and then pick out maybe 2 shimmers to do on the lid. So I'm gonna cut the crease off camera and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I cut the crease. I went in with the Juvia's Place concealer to cut the crease. I do also have like the Moira primer that works nicely, but I don't know, I still feel like the Juvia's Place concealer works best for me. For shimmers, these are all just so pretty. So I feel like I want to start with Constellation and like pop that just on the outer part. I'm going to do that with a finger. These are super soft pressed, so I feel like finger or a brush is probably going to work to get the impact. But I'm just going to start. This is again one of the shades that did arrive broken, but I'm going to just grab a little bit on the finger and then tap it on the very outer part. Now this shade, like from some angles it looks gold, from some it's more coppery, but really, really pretty. So I'm just going to tap that on the outer part. Only take it to about the halfway point on the eye. I realized in one of my last videos that when I put shimmers on with a finger, it does look like I'm like flipping off the camera. I promise you that's not the case. Oh, that's a really pretty shimmer. Go ahead and make the other side match. If I wasn't doing a cut crease, I would for sure put down like a glitter primer, but my concealer here is still kind of tacky, so I'm not going to. But when you're working with really soft pressed shimmers, I definitely recommend putting some type of tacky base down just to help them not only stick, but to get the shine and shimmer that you want. All right, that's where we're at with that. Now I feel like I have to dip into Milky Way. I don't know if it's gonna really go with the look, but I'm gonna dip into Milky Way and put that on the front part of the lid. I am gonna use a brush for this just to try to follow that cut crease. So I'm gonna dip into Milky Way with that brush. We'll see how it picks up on a brush. Again, this is one of the shades that I did repress. It is kind of chunky. And then I'm gonna just tap that right in the front. And I'm gonna again just outline that cut crease with the brush and then blend it into the other shimmer so it looks a little more seamless. Oh, that's really pretty. This is my version of a neutral look if you haven't been here before. This shade is picking up pretty easily on a brush. I do have quite a bit of fallout, which I expect with looser shimmers, but that is why I always do my eyes before I do my face, so I can kind of brush it all away, not worry about ruining like a face of makeup. Because the shimmers that I tend to like the most are the ones that are going to have a lot of fallout. The looser ones tend to have more of that shimmery impact, which I like. And then blend them together. All right, so I think I'm done with the lid. I really like how that's looking. This is a more just like neutrally grungy look for me, which is one of my favorite directions to go. So I'm gonna go off camera and do all of my face products, and I'll be back to finish up with the shadow. All right, I'm back. I have all my face products on, ready to dip back into eyeshadow, but first I'm gonna go in on the waterline just with a black Urban Decay waterliner pencil, and I'm gonna just pop that on really quick. All right, so I'm gonna start by dipping back into the black, which is shadow, and just popping that more on the outer part of the lower lash line. And then connect it up to the shadow out here. All right, so I'm gonna kind of leave some space in the front and go make the other side match. And then I'm gonna dip into Fog, which was that first yellow shade, and I'm just gonna use that to buff out the black. All right, so now I feel like I want to add like a little pop of color. Do I? I think so. So I think I'm gonna grab the shade Obscurity, which is this shade, and just pop that right on the front part of the lower lash line. Like right here. I don't know how noticeable it will be on camera, but I just want to add like an extra piece of interest to this look. I will probably feature this color a little more in one of the other looks, but I just wanted a little more of a pop of something. For the inner corner, I'm just gonna take the shade Milky Way, pop that in, and with that, I think I'm done with the shadow. All right, I'm gonna go off camera and do some liner, mascara, find a lip, and I will be back. All right, I'm back with the first look. For the lips, I felt like I had to go a little grungier, so I do have a Rare Beauty Lip Souffle in the shade Thrilling. It's just like a brown matte finish. Here is the first look. I really love this already. It's like a grungy but springy dream. So in today's look, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 12 shades. So I think tomorrow I'll go a little more colorful, maybe something blue and green. I'm not quite sure, but for the first look, so far, I really enjoy this already. I've been so excited for this palette. I've just been anticipating its arrival, so I'm really happy that I finally get to play around with it. So here is look number 1, and up next is look number 2. All right, welcome back again, up close and personal to play with Nocturnal. Maybe a little too close, I don't know. And today is like tie-dye day at school, so I have free reign to play with as many colors as I want. So I think that's what I'm gonna do today, is just slap a bunch of colors on, and then maybe tomorrow I'll go a little more of like a cohesive look. But let's just play with some color today. So whereas yesterday I kind of stuck over here, today I'm definitely gonna stick over there. I'm gonna start with the shade Murky, which is this green right here, and let's just plop that right in front. I love grungy greens. I love murky shades, and this one's even called murky, so perfect. All right, next I'm gonna dip into Nightfall, which is this shade right here. And I'm just using the same brush and a color switch. And I'm gonna just attach that to that green. I'm taking like 15 seconds per color per eye. These blend so easily. That was so quick and easy. Next I'm gonna grab the shade Witching Hour, which is this purple. Again, just going for like a hodgepodge of color today, but I think it's gonna work. I think at this point I have used every matte in the palette between the two looks I've done. Again, I like a really deep outer corner, so I'm really gonna build that purple up, and I'm gonna drag it through a little bit to kind of help with the look of the cut crease, and I will clean the edges up a little later. All right, making the other side match. Well, I feel like I could replicate this with the Shroud It's Freaking Bats palette, just with these tones. I could probably create something really similar. All right, I have those mattes laid down. I'm gonna dip back into that first screen and just kind of buff that around the edges a little bit. Drag that all the way out here, buff out that purple. I feel like I lost the blue shade Nightfall, so I'm gonna add that back in a little bit and just pop it right here where it was. There is kind of some murkiness to these shadows blended together, which is expected just with these shades. Is that too much for a school day? Never. All right, I'm gonna take just an empty brush and buff things out just to calm it down a little bit. All right, that's fun so far. Very fall feeling to me. All right, I feel like I need to do a cut crease today, so I'm gonna go off camera and cut out the crease, and I'll be right back. All right, so I did cut the crease. I'm gonna go back into the purple just to blend out the edge of it, just a little bit. All right, and then for shimmers, okay, I have a few options. So I have Luna, which is this purple duochrome shade, really pretty. There's Night Vision, which is this really fun murky green, and then there is Dusk. They're all pretty. Those are the three that I have not used yet. Do I go just purple and green today? But I also love Milky Way. If I want to keep it a little brighter, that's at the bottom. I used it yesterday, but I feel like to keep this look a little brighter, I might dip into it again. Maybe I'll use three. So I'm gonna, I think, put Luna out here, into Night Vision, into Milky Way. Let's try that. So I'm gonna go in with a super flat packing brush, and I'm gonna start with Luna. See how this goes with a brush. Normally shades like this I would pick up with my finger. I'm gonna go in with my finger. I don't need too much precision because it's the one out here. I'm not gonna do a lot of this shade. I'm really just gonna concentrate it right here. And it's like very cool duochromy. Depending on the angle that you're looking at, it looks different. There's that shade laid down. Now I'm gonna hop into Night Vision, and I'm gonna try the brush again for this one. And I'm gonna try to just keep this right to the middle here. And then I'm gonna follow that crease. I feel like for the theme today at school, like with a tie-dye theme, normally I'd probably go like neons, but I just really wanted to play with this palette again. All right, so there's with the green laid down. Then I am going to dip into Milky Way and build that up in the front, just to try to bring back a little brightness to this look. And I'm gonna really blend that into that green, and then pull that shade through the crease a little bit. That's fun. All right, what do we think so far? All right, well that's a lot of colors all at once. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors in this look so far, and I think for sure I'm gonna add this shade just to get a little more brightness in. But I think I'm gonna stop there on the lid. I'm gonna go off camera and do all my face products, and I'll be back to finish up with eyeshadow. All right, I'm back. I have all my face products on. Time to dip back into the eyeshadow. Start with just a black liner on the waterline today. All right, so I feel like I wanna brighten up the lower lash line, so I am gonna dip into Shade Obscurity here. I don't know how much it goes with the look, but it's spring, so I feel like I need to just brighten it up a bit. So I'm gonna just build this up, and because it's a lighter shade, I am gonna try to kind of pull it down a little bit just so you can see it, kind of like that. What I've noticed about these shadows so far in the 2 looks I've done is that they don't take a lot of effort. They blend out really easily, they build up really easily. All right, that's where we're at. All right, and then for the inner corner, I'm gonna dip back into Milky Way and just pop that in. A little bit of fallout from that. I'm just gonna pick off with a little brush. All right, well there is the eyeshadow. I really like it. I'm gonna go off camera and do just some eyeliner, a little bit of mascara. I'll pick out a lip and I'll be back. All right, I'm back with the final look. What do we think? I just went in with some liner, mascara, and then for lips, I have a Juvia's Place lipstick. This is the shade Lady. So it's just a really nice nude. I really like Juvia's Place lipsticks. They're nice mattes that aren't super drying, which is great. But again, with the super bold look, I feel like kind of a more nude lip is the way to go. So for this look, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shades. It is definitely like a more murky look, which I enjoy. I enjoy kind of grungy looks. So maybe I'll try to go just a little brighter and more springy tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't decided. But I do need to dip into the shade Dusk. That's the one shade I think that I have not used yet. So I will do something with that tomorrow for sure, so then I can say that I've used all 12 shades. But here's look number 2, and here comes look number 3. All right, welcome back, day 3. My lighting is much better today because it's not 6 o'clock in the morning. It is Saturday. I have 3 weeks left of school as of now. So I'm already primed and ready. I'm gonna dive right in. So I think for today's look, I really wanna stick kind of the purpley shades. The one shade that I haven't used yet is Dusk, which is beautiful. It's, let's see, like purpley and goldy, coppery, pinky. I don't know, it's a really fun duochrome. So I feel like the last 2 days I went pretty grungy, so let's keep it a little more springy today. So I'm gonna dip right into Obscurity right here. I've used this both of the last 2 days, but more as like a little bit of an under eye accent. So today it will be more of a featured shade for me. So I'm just gonna start right in front and kind of pull that all throughout, tacking it onto the lid a bit as well. And then just kind of buffing out on those edges. So just starting there. So it is a very like periwinkle blue shade. I feel it comes across more blue on my lid, but it's a really pretty tone. All right, so I am just gonna stop there with this shade. All right, and then I'm gonna dip into Witching Hour, which is this purple right here, and I'm gonna focus that on the outer part of the eye. I don't know if I'm gonna dip into the black to deepen things up today. I'm thinking no, but who knows? I might, maybe just a tiny bit. I don't do a lot of like strictly purple looks, but I feel like a few of the palettes that I've gotten recently have kind of pushed me in this direction, which is fun to try things that are not typical to me. All right, and then I'm gonna just drag that through the crease a little bit, but not losing that first shade. All right, so there we have the 2 shades laid down. I'm gonna make the other side match to the best of my ability. Kind of tempted to like pull a little yellow through here, but I think I'm not going to. I think what I'm actually gonna do is grab that first shade and kind of buff it throughout. So just kind of placing it out here too. There we go. Kind of using it as my transition shade. I'm gonna keep dipping into that shade and just really build it up in the front here. I'm not even tapping it off right now and just kind of packing it right there on the lid. Question of the day, do I cut the crease? I feel like I've been like in cut crease mode lately. I think I'm not gonna cut the crease today, but I am gonna use some glitter primer. So I have the NYX glitter primer. I'm just gonna dip into a little bit and just tap it on the lid, kind of where I'm gonna want those shimmers. And then I'm gonna start with the shade Dusk, which is the shade that I haven't used, and I'm gonna tap that kind of in the middle. And then I'm gonna grab the shade Luna and tap that out here. And kind of blend them together a little bit. And then again, I know I've used the shade Milky Way every day, but I feel like it just goes with this. So I'm gonna use a brush for this one and just kind of put that right in the front here and blend it into the other shadows. So now at least I can say I've used every shadow in this palette. I'm just kind of tapping those all together. That works. I think they layered really pretty together. I feel like any look that I try with this palette, even going for like a more springy look, is gonna end up fairly grungy, which is fine. I like that. But I think I'm ready to stop on the lid. I am gonna go in with all of my face products and I'll be back to finish up with the eyeshadows. All right, I'm back with all my face products on, ready to dip back into the eyeshadow. So I think for the waterline, I'm gonna go in. I have this blue liner. My husband brought this to me from India on one of his trips. So it's just a really like shimmery blue liner, but I feel like it'll go with this look. So I'm just gonna go in on the waterline. It's like super soft and pigmented, which is great for the waterline. It shows up really well. Then dipping back into the palette, I'm gonna start with the purple Witching Hour, and I'm just gonna start to build that up on the lower lash line. All right, so I built that up pretty strong. I'm gonna go into this shade to buff that out. Then I know I've done the same thing the last 3 days, but for the inner corner, I'm gonna go into Milky Way. It's really the only shade in here that, at least for my skin tone, will really work as like a highlight. So just putting that right in there. All right, I feel like I intended today going into this look to do something kind of bright and springy, and I don't think that's quite what happened, but I'm still really liking this look. Very different than the last couple days. So far, really enjoying these shadows, but I think that's where I'm gonna stop with the eyeshadow. I'm going to go ahead and go off camera, do liner, mascara, find a lip, and I'll come back with the final look and my final thoughts. All right, I'm back with the final look. For lips, I went in with a ColourPop lip stain. This is the shade Sugar Snap. I've been using this quite a bit. It's a really nice color, nice formula. Here's the final look. I really like this one. I don't do a lot of purples, but I was compelled today to dip into these shades. So I'm just gonna give kind of my final thoughts right now on this palette. I have now done 3 looks. I have used every single shade in this palette. It is so beautiful. This color story just screamed to me when I saw it. I knew immediately that I was going to pick it up. As I said earlier, I did have a few of the shimmers arrive broken. Like, they were pretty shattered. However, they're really soft pressed, so they were really easy. I just put a tissue on top and press it back down. They work just fine. I do feel like I lost some of the Milky Way shade, whereas the other shades that were broken, I feel like they're still pretty full, and I was able to save the whole thing. So far, the mattes in this palette blend out beautifully. The pigment is great. I love that there's a combination of like grungy but springy. I think there's a lot of different directions you can take this. I mean, you could even do a pretty straight up neutral look if you want to. You can go blue, you can go green, you can go purple, but definitely like colorful with a grungy vibe, which I love. I think this will be fantastic for fall as well. Beautiful packaging. I really have nothing bad to say about this palette other than the broken shimmers. However, like I said, the brand has reformulated those shadows, so if you ordered after the first pre-order, which that's when I got mine, it sounds like they're gonna be coming not broken, so that's great. But so far, I'm really enjoying this palette after 3 looks. I know I'm gonna dip into this quite a bit more coming up here, maybe trying some other color combinations that I haven't tried yet. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the 3 looks that I created with the new Glaminatrix palette. Let me know below if you picked this up, and let me know what your favorite look was. I'm kind of torn between, I think, my first look and this look. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.